Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome inside the Fan Cave. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. We are live tonight, KDKA-TV Plus. In addition to 93.7 The Fan, so if you're driving around, you're watching at home, call us at 412-575-2600. Bob Pompeani here. Andrew Fillipponi is there at 93.7
Bob.
The Fan. Yes. What?
Why did you change out of the festive outfit from the Tomlin press conference today? That red coat was the talk of the town with the green sweater vest underneath. It was an unbelievable look. I was hoping to see it tonight to give you some more compliments and say that your fashion sense this time of year is through the roof. And instead, it's this?
What's wrong with this?
Why did you change it? I'm not saying it's bad, but
you're insulting my wife by saying what's wrong with this.
No,
Lisa, text Andrew
Lisa,
right now.
I'm not
Call
coming
Amanda.
after you. No, this is a testament to how amazing the Tomlin press conference outfit was, and I was hoping to see it again. That's all.
Well, you will see it again as we get closer to Christmas, but I brought it out a little early because, victory celebration on a Tuesday and, an early Christmas gift. We'll get into that, Andrew, in a second, but first I want to talk about the Grinch part of this, and that was a 5-game homestand for the Pittsburgh Penguins, which ended up with only 3 points, a possible 10. And this is a homestand, 5 games. I thought they played well enough to win 3 of them. They get none, and they only get 3 points.
First time that's ever happened, they go winless on a 5-game homestand.
Yep.
And I know they got some loser points in there, but that's really a hollow consolation prize given how they blew so many leads, especially over the weekend with the San Jose game and then what happened against Utah Sunday afternoon. You cannot put the Edmonton Oilers on the power play. And they were 3 for 4. That was the difference in the night. This ended up being a special teams game. The Penguins actually have the highest ranked power play in the NHL. They were 1 for 6, and I think they would have scored more goals and probably have won this game on the power play if they had more shots on the power play. 2 things happened. I didn't think that their zone entries were the best in terms of being able to get the puck in the Edmonton zone, and then I thought they fell back on old habits, Bob. The tried and true, let's make the perfect pass to try to get the perfect shot to try to score the goal. And they got too fancy, and they got too set in their old ways when they were a struggling power play unit a couple of years ago of turning into the Harlem Globetrotters. And I think that hurt them immensely in this game because I think if they get traffic and shots on Tristan Jarry, given his butterflies tonight, they probably score more goals, and maybe they would have been able to beat the Edmonton Oilers in a very high-scoring affair had that happened.
And once again, Erik Karlsson with a terrible pinch in the game. It was 4-2. He comes in, and for whatever reason, he decided to do it, triggered a 3-on-1 the other way. Those habits are hard to break, and the Penguins paid the price for that. You see our Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, KDKA.com, Connect poll of the night. This is, do you feel better about the Steelers after the win over Miami, brought to you by Penn West University?
And why are so many people saying no? I don't understand that one.
Yeah, I don't understand.
These games not count?
It's up there now. This is going to change as time goes on, I would imagine. We're going to take a break, Andrew. We'll talk about that win last night. And it was an impressive one for the Steelers, who really won this game 28-3. And then there were some garbage points at the end of the game that really made it look closer than it was. And they were once tanking for Tua, and now they're tanking with Tua, and you wonder where this is going to head. We'll get into all that in your phone calls at 412-575-2600. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Call us, KDKA-TV Plus and 93.7 The Fan. All right, this is our Xfinity tweet of the night from DraftKings Sportsbook. You can see when you make a trade like this, 2 goaltenders involved, and they don't have enough time to get their masks repainted, this is what you have. You have the Penguin goalie tonight, Stuart Skinner, wearing his goalie mask from Edmonton, and you have Tristan Jarry, the new Edmonton goaltender, wearing his Penguin mask. So that'll change in time, but it was an interesting trade, and it's still, I think it's a good one for the Penguins. We'll see what that means, though. Andrew, if you're looking at this from a Sergei Murashov point of view, how do you see this goaltending situation playing off the rest of this year? You have Skinner, who's on 1 year left on a contract because of a free agent. He's flip-worthy at the deadline. You also have Sheelas, who just was acquired here. How do you think this plays off, and when do you think Murashov will get an opportunity on a regular basis?
Good question. I think it's one that Penguins fans obviously care about a lot. I know Skinner was not very good tonight. I think really, other than the power play goals, which I'm not going to ding him for. We showed that one goal kind of from a bad angle that went in that kind of caught him by surprise that I didn't think was a very good goal. But it was his first game, and it was against his old team. Very odd circumstances. You know, this guy won 7 playoff series in Edmonton, and he wasn't the driving force behind him, but in some games, like when they knocked out Vegas last year, he gave up 1 goal combined in games 5 and 6 to knock out Vegas.
Yep.
Okay, so this guy does have it in there somewhere. It was a weird situation, too, because he grew up in Edmonton. So there was added pressure there to be the goaltender in that city. It'd be like a guy growing up in Pittsburgh and being the Steelers' starting quarterback. So that's how I think how dicey that was for him, how tenuous. I want to see what this guy looks like with a change of scenery. So I've heard some Penguins fans say, who cares about Skinner? Play Miroshov and play Shilovs now. I don't want to just throw Skinner away. I either want to play him to see if I'm interested in keeping him long term, or I want to play him to do what you just said, which is showcase him in a trade. Either way, I think Miroshov is going to continue to be their third goalie until the trade deadline, and maybe at that point, if Skinner is still playing well and Shilovs is just playing okay, maybe Shilovs and Miroshov switch roles, Bob, and Miroshov comes up here and is the number 2.
The thing about Skinner is that, he's from Edmonton, but Jari goes back to the same situation now. He's from that area, and he's going to have people who are going to wonder, can he carry this team? Their expectations are to win a Stanley Cup, so we'll see what happens there. But as far as Skinner, he's only 27, and like you said, he's made some big plays in big situations, so I'd be interested to see more how it goes on. All right, let's get to the lines. We got a lot of them. Eric in Johnstown is our Go One Better #1 Cochrane caller of the night. Go ahead, Eric. How are you?
Good this evening. Thanks for taking my call, Bob. First off, I hope the Penguins can turn things around here. They've been in this slump here now for a few games. But 2 things I want to comment about. I want to commend Sidney Crosby for stepping up and refusing to wear this PLGBT stuff. I think it has no place in professional sports and hockey, or I think Tomlin denounced it too. But the other thing I want to bring up, Bob, is, besides that, and you could comment later, there's some report on social media that Tristan Jarry was in some type of gambling scam.
Eric, I don't know, and I'm not going to go down that pipe. You can read whatever you want to read and believe whatever you want to believe. Let's go to our next caller. That would be, is it Jerry in Marionville? Is that right, Jerry? Hello,
Yeah.
Jerry. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, just calling to voice my opinion on the Steelers recently. After the Bills game, Rodgers and TJ at the podium, they were both very unhappy with the play that day. I believe that Rodgers that day exploited problems with the team players missing practice, not participating in film study, and other things. After this, they
What's your question? What's your question?
They beat the Ravens and the Dolphins. My question is, do you think that Rodgers really woke this team up?
I think there's an accountability factor for this franchise with him. I think he is a 4-time NFL MVP. He's a Hall of Famer. I think when he speaks, they listen. And I think if he's going to do that, he's not been shy about doing it, Andrew. He comes out and he can be critical without being, a jerk about it. And he's done that. And he will do that. And I think that's good. And probably it impacts them in practice more than anything else, which then carries over to the game. So I do think he forces some accountability on other players.
No doubt. I think the coach, obviously, is the driving force behind Rodgers being here. And I think those guys actually do have a very good working relationship. I think there's a mutual respect there. I think Aaron Rodgers possibly went to Tomlin after the Bills loss and said, look, some of these things aren't working. We don't have to blow it up, but maybe we can try some different things. They got Thielen and MVS into games. We've seen a more aggressive posture as far as where they're throwing the ball. It's downfield and it's over the middle. There were a ton of over-the-middle throws against the Dolphins in this game on Monday night. And then really you've got the 4th down decision-making too. And Mike has been the most conservative coach when it comes to 4th down decision-making until last night, when he went for it 3 times, converted all 3 in the first half. I thought he was going to get asked more questions about that today, to be honest with you. I thought that was going to come up at some point. Like, look, The stats back this up. You never go for it. You know, what happened here? You know, you had an epiphany, basically. He went for it inside his own 30, Bob. Yeah. I mean, that's never happened, really, with Mike Tomlin before. And they voted against the tush push. They didn't like the rule. Art Rooney said as much. And they said, well, if you can't beat them, join them. And they've come up with this Connor Hayward play. Now, I don't for the life of me understand why Rodgers is on the field for it. That I don't get. Why are they playing 10 on 11
I don't know.
when they do that? Because he just stands there and does nothing.
And he does it the whole time and just signals first down all the time, and that's about it. You're mentioning those three. That's the first time in Mike Tomlin's tenure here in 19 years that he's gone for 3 fourth downs in the first half, and he made all three, so that was a big part of it. Let's go to Lisa and Butler. Lisa, go ahead. Hey, Lisa. Lisa, are you there?
Bob, is this your wife calling in to reprimand me?
My call. I
No.
called last week concerning Pat Fryermuth being clear in the game. So happy that he was able to get a couple passes downfield. But anyways, I just wanted to comment and say I am so happy with the Steelers right now, where they're standing between the Ravens and the Dolphins game. It just seems as though they're gelling more, both on offense and defense. It's becoming a more complete game.
Well, I mean, 2 wins in a row will do that, especially after the Buffalo game. I give them credit for that, but they still have some work to be done. And this is a Detroit team that will be desperate on Sunday. But getting back to her point there, which was, and now I forget, what was she talking about? Oh, the tight ends. How about Fryermuth? Not only him, but the first time ever in NFL history that 2 tight ends scored rushing touchdowns in the same game. So that was unusual to see that. There were a lot of interesting things in that game last night, but Detroit coming up won't be easy. But it's still going to come down, I think, Andrew, to that last game of the year. There are a lot of scenarios out there. Even if the Steelers, win a couple, and so do the Ravens, that last game becomes impactful, even if they lose along the way, that last game. Do you think it'll come down to that, or do you think Ravens will lose 2 in a row because they've got 2 tough games coming up against the Patriots and Green Bay?
Well, I'm not going to say the Steelers are going to win this game yet on Sunday, but I give them a much better chance on Sunday than I think a lot of experts and even Steelers media as far as how this game looks on paper. I mean, Detroit's defense is decimated right now. Their secondary is going to start, especially at safety, mostly backups. Eric Hallett, the Pitt safety, who was the ACC championship game MVP when they won it with Kenny, was going to start at safety potentially, but the Titans claimed him off the practice squad today. They were doing the thing that the Steelers did with MVS, where they were calling him up on game day to start. Well, Tennessee swooped in and stole him. So they're in trouble there at that safety spot. Aaron Rodgers is very familiar, no stranger to Ford Field, feels very comfortable there. I give the Steelers a real shot in this game. And Derek Harmon, Mike Tomlin came out and said, last night was precautionary. He's going to play in this game. And that's huge because we have that 1-2 punch of David Montgomery and Ashton Gibbs and Jameer Gibbs.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the old Pitt shooting guard.
So am I. He was great from three-point land. Maybe so is Jameer.
Sonic and Knuckles is the nickname those 2 guys have there. And you're going to need your big guys up front to slow down that run game. And Harmon makes a world of a difference when he's out there for the Steelers,
he does.
Bob.
The Steelers have played some really good rushing teams this year. They've had their share of success. They stopped, certainly, Jonathan Taylor when Indy came to town. They had decent numbers against the Bears, who had a good 1-2 punch. And then you saw what they did yesterday to Achane. But this is a different test. This combination has produced 21 rushing touchdowns, not to mention, I think, 5 more in the passing game. So they don't have their elite tight end. He's out. And they have 2 really good receivers to go with what they have. They have elite players everywhere, not to mention their quarterback, who is very good.
Yeah, when he doesn't get pressured, he's outstanding. He's kind of a statue in the pocket, Goff, but he can pick you apart. I don't really take much out of their defensive performance last night because, Bob, more than anything else, this Tua contract is just a farce.
Oh, it's awful.
I mean, you want to talk about one of the worst deals. Obviously, Deshaun Watson takes the cake, but this guy's making $53 million a year. He leads the NFL in interceptions. The biggest reason why the Dolphins have won or had won 4 in a row is because they took the ball out of his hands and they were running the ball so much more. Second possession, he throws that terrible interception.
Looked like a bowling ball.
It's the second half of the game, it did. Second half of the game, they've no urgency. they're not running up tempo, no huddle. I mean, it's just a disaster with him there.
Yeah, exactly. You talk about hands. Everybody talk about Kenny Pickett's hands. He has small hands, and in cold weather, they don't work necessarily well, and it showed last night. We got to take a break. Come back with more right here on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. All right, Andrew, we just have about 45 seconds left. So looking at that Detroit game, what's the biggest thing the Steelers have to do? I say, last night's first time they outsnapped someone. They had great time of possession. I think that's part of this equation if they're going to win.
I think exploit those matchups in the secondary. DK Metcalf probably going to get man coverage one-on-one, take advantage of stuff like that against the Lions' ailing defense.
They've given up 28 touchdown passes this year, so that means they are vulnerable back there, and they have a bunch of backups. So that would be something to look to. But watch out for Aiden Hutchinson because they can come after you a little bit, and Rodgers is going to need that offensive line to be pretty good.
And shout out to Dylan Cook. Way to go, Dylan Cook. What a great first start.
What a job he did. Good night, Andrew. We're out of time. We'll see you again tomorrow night.
See you, Bob.
All right. Good night, everyone. Thanks.